Good morning. I'm Steve Snyder, Entrepreneur in Residence at Gesmer Updegrove, and welcome to another episode of Brewin on Broad Street. Gesmer Updegrove is a full-service law firm for the life cycle of tech companies, companies that are growing rapidly and scaling. And as I mentioned, we provide legal services and, as important, business advice and guidance. And as part of that business advice and guidance, we get to work with terrific, skilled business experts. And so today, it's a treat for me to introduce you to Paul Pedevillano. Many of you may know Paul, but welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and spend some time with you.
Thank you. We've worked together for many years.
Yes,
many years. You founded VE Advisors.
Correct.
You are now with Supporting Strategies. You've worked with many, many dozens of tech entrepreneurs, helping them succeed. Tell us about you and your background.
Great. I actually got started as a CPA and worked in public accounting. But as that went on, I felt like I wanted to be working with people who were building things. And so I joined an early startup in Massachusetts and went there as controller. And some number of years later, we took it public and I was the CFO. I've been CFO of 4 companies. I've done a couple IPOs. But one of the beautiful things about the tech business is young people get opportunities to do many things. So I've been a VP of manufacturing, I've been a chief operating officer, and it allowed me to build a very broad business background, which is what became the foundation of VE Advisors.
You and I have had the opportunity to work with a significant number of companies that were truly at startup stage,
Right.
and work with them through liquidity events, particularly acquisitions. One I remember, the first one that comes to mind is a young Babson student who, as part of the curriculum, started his own company, and he and his roommate created their first product, which was a band around their wrist,
Right.
which I know you remember. I won't mention names, but I know you remember. And you worked with them for years. We worked with them, and they were ultimately acquired by a company in a very successful transaction. And by the way, the two were matched at a third Thursday. But that's an example of the type of work that we both do.
Yes.
Some think of you as a fractional CFO. I think of you as a holistic advisor. What do you think of that description?
I appreciate the title because one of the things I've always strived to do is provide more than just financial advice. That whole operational perspective is helping them on areas of the business, especially in the early days where they need help beyond just numbers. But more importantly, as the business grows, as they take investment, you're in board meetings and presentation with potential investors. And it's really important to be a business partner to the CEO that you're working with, and then later the board of directors. And sometimes it's making sure they know that they have somebody who's on their side and advocating for them and trying to help them avoid pitfalls, both personally and professionally, in the growth of their company.
So I know that VE Advisors has become part of Supporting Strategies. Mm-hmm. How do you and the Supporting Strategies team work with scaling companies to help them succeed?
One of the really amazing things about Supporting Strategies is we can provide metered accounting, controller, and CFO services that can grow with you as you need to grow. So a lot of our companies are a spin out of universities where it's a small number of people, and as they grow and their needs change, I have this organization behind me that can provide them the right kind of services as they're needed for the growth of that company.
And you continue to be that holistic business advisor as well.
that's what makes it worth doing, right? If I was just a hired gun, I wouldn't find this business interesting. But to be able to partner with CEOs and management teams is what really makes it fun.
And exciting for you, and I know you're passionate about that as well. What one piece of advice will you give early stage entrepreneurs?
So the biggest advice I have is the headline is don't run out of cash. And so a lot of early stage, right out of the gate starting, some entrepreneurs worry so much about dilution. And what I've always told them when I've talked on this subject or talked to them individually is the most expensive money you're going to raise is not the first round. It's that round you need to raise because you have no money left. And so what I advise them to do is to get enough money to be successful, because for most of us, even the successful entrepreneurs don't make generational money on the very first thing they try. So it's important to build a winning record, because that's where the VCs gravitate to. They want to gravitate to someone who's been successful, and you could have 2, 3, 4, or 5 different opportunities in your career, and think about building something successful first.
When entrepreneurs are thinking about raising that first round of money, what role should an informal board of advisors play to help them?
I think that that's really important, because entrepreneurs that start have a particular skill in general, which is they're really an amazing engineer, and they've thought of something or did something in a university lab, and they're spinning it out to become a company. And they don't understand all the processes you have to go through, how to work with a board, how to work with a board of advisors, and having them become pieces of the puzzle to help them succeed. And so it's really important to surround yourself with people who have domain expertise, people who've done this before, and can help make your life easier on that journey.
That track record of success is really important for advisors. Yeah.
Yep,
really
absolutely.
Important. So let's completely change gears. Tell me about your hobbies.
So as time has gone on, I've always found sports to be, my favorite hobbies. And I've spent a lifetime doing mountain biking, tennis, basketball. Lately, I've been spending more of my time doing pickleball, which I always used to call tennis a game. This is not an original thought. Tennis is a game for the ages, and pickleball is a game for the aged. So I've been spending my time introducing it to my family members, and it gives us an opportunity to get together and have a social event and do something fun.
Well, even though you refer to that as a game for the aged, I know you're still in your 50s, so that's okay. That's all right. You are so special and have such a long track record of success as a financial expert helping scaling companies and providing that business advice. Our audience must meet you. So how do they meet you? How do they contact you?
The easiest way to get a hold of me is to reach out to my email at Supporting Strategies. And it's really small and easy to remember. It's Pedevillano at supportingstrategies.com. I apologize in advance for the length it takes to type that, but that's the easiest way to reach out to me.
Believe it or not, as you speak that, it's going to appear in the frame of this video.
Perfect.
Very easy. Paul, thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Always great to spend time with you.
It's a treat. And thank you for joining us in this episode of Brewin on Broad Street.